we know that there are many factors that affect pricing, such as the cost of producing a good, the transportation of the good, the tariffs, the currency issues and fluctuations, different subsidies and grants that can lower or raise the price, and different consumer demands and changes in market perceptions of products, as well as other market and firm level costs, component pricing changes based on the fact that sourcing goods got more expensive. All these could affect a price before you even hit the shelf. But we also have to consider the psychological effects on pricing. So we have considered all these other things that get that baseline and pricing strategies and what we really want out of it. But when we go to that final level, to the store shelf, that way we tweak the pricing that gets you sales is truly a fascinating industry with a lot of research. Let's take a look at what pricing, how the marketers affect pricing for us in America. Take, for example, the pricing strategy of the 99, called the 99 effect. I see $1.99 for a cheeseburger, and I immediately think it's $1, and I generally tend to say it's $1. Most people do. So the 99 effect increased when they changed pricing for cheeseburgers at a McDonald's. They found an increase in sales by about 8%. Changes perceived utility through the price essential was no different than a rounded number. So if I said $2, people would say $2. But if I said $1.99, we found a substantial difference in consumer pricing or effect of what they wanted out of it. When we look at utility, we look at utility from the transactional and the acquisition. The acquiring of the product. I enjoyed my hamburger. But when I have the transaction utility, I want to know, did I get it for a good price? And this pricing mechanism affects us, and we think we get a good deal, the transactional utility, regardless of the hamburger itself. So how does this work? We've seen it in so many shelves. You're not usually aware of it, but when it happens, it looks like this. It's $2.99 or $3. Which one do you think it is? We find that the left digit, it affects the most. The left digit isn't applied as much as it is to the furthest right digit. So if I say $2.99 is better than $3. If I say $3.59, it's not as affected because than $3.60 because it's not the most right number. The 99 versus 100, $99 does affect. $109 versus 110. So you have to be careful with perceived effects of the roundup. People will also potentially feel that the 99 effect is lower perceived value. So when the 99 effect works most effective on products that, people want just a cheap item. So that's why you see it $2.99 and you don't usually see it at the $100 level and above. The precision effect. We also get affected by numbers the more precise it appears. Which house price appears cheaper? When asked consumers about the price of a house at $510,000 versus $511,348, which one did people feel was cheaper? In a blind study, consumers perceived the value that the $511,348 was cheaper because rounded numbers adds perceived value, as I mentioned before. So when you want something to look more expensive, you want to add zeros. If you want something to look cheaper, you start to get more specific. That tends to be the most effective. Not always. Well, let's take a look. Now we know about the U.S., the American market generally, that the 99 effect works, the precision effect. But what about in other countries? In European markets, you go buy a cheeseburger, it's $2, it's €2. You don't discuss it. It's all value-added tax is included. I pay €2, I walk away. I don't have to deal with pennies. It's really annoying. So consumers don't tend to buy into that, particularly the German market where they're very cash heavy. They like the convenience of drop it to euro and leave. In some Asian cultures, numbers have a unique effect on people, particularly in China, where the lucky number is 8, and the number 4 is associated with death. The lucky number 8 is so important in Chinese culture. The Chinese Beijing Olympics started on August 8th, 2008, so that's 080808. And so that was a huge significant factor for them. So it's that lucky of a number. People literally avoid things that are priced in the 4 categories. Research shows that advertised prices are affected. When they sampled 499 prices of various products listed in newspapers in Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Taiwan, almost 40% of prices ended in the 8. And less than 15% of prices ended in the number 5, and like 1.4% of prices ended in the number 4. This even affects stock pricing too. Apparently people will avoid stock numbers that are in the 4 categories and will lean towards the numbers in the 8 categories. If it's saying stocks are worth $68 or worth $88 or worth $888, obviously that's the best, would be the most important to Chinese investors. So pricing affects us at a very innate, deep level. It's very culturally driven. And I implore you to do your research when you finally discussed everything in the, you cross your T's, dot your I's, and all those other categories in your pricing strategies. Now comes the time to consider the psychological effect of the price that you impose at the final shelf, at the store shelf. So keep that in mind. It is important that you don't forget that. You don't want to offend a culture or lose out on sales because you were just being ignorant, simply ignorant